Hello ladies and gentlemen, PTCGRadio is back with round 6, the second half thereof, of the Nottingham Regional Championships from March 2015, just after the release of Primal Clash. Long story short, there was a problem with the video, and I was only able to salvage Game 1, so I am re-recording Game 2. I have put links to, or I will have put links I should say, to rounds 4, 5 and the first half of 6 in the description below, so make sure you go and watch those videos before here. We have got a Seismitoad Yveltal mirror match going on, Ryan Moorhouse on the left, Matthew King on the right, both players who have already got their Worlds invite this year already sewn up. And Ryan won Game 1 of this Yveltal Seismitoad mirror, so Matthew's gone first in Game 2. And we already see an energy and a muscle band and a head ringer and a laser with a heads. Now he is having to play the Jirachi down to grab a supporter, and that is not ideal here because he's now got that Jirachi on the bench. Ryan is going to be able to drag it up and use Quake with something like the Sandra and use Quaking Punch to, get a couple easy prizes while trainer locking Matthew or forcing him to waste an energy attachment to retreat. And, at the end of the day, you like your opponent having a Jirachi on the bench. You'll generally leave it for your last 2 prizes. Now, if Ryan goes down to 4 prizes left, all he needs to do is drag up the Jirachi and do 90 damage. And we see a Juniper there because I refuse to acknowledge Sycamore as a card until Juniper gets rotated. We see a baby Yveltal going down on the bench. And we saw in the previous game, Ryan plays Max Potion, which Matthew doesn't, and is a huge help in this matchup. And Matthew plays Mewtwo, which isn't a particularly huge help in this matchup. He's not as good an attacker in this matchup as Yveltal is. So there is no Verbank, so we've only got 10 damage. He does wake up. But essentially, Ryan is going to be trying to get that Yveltal out of the active. It's not one he's going to be wanting to really rely on. We see a second Yveltal go down. We see an Ultra Ball there, getting rid of a Colress and doesn't know exactly what to get rid of there. Juniper, and we see he's got a double colourless energy in hand, so is he going to go for the Seismitoad to get the trainer lock going early? And it looks like he is. The problem with potentially doing that is that Evil Ball is going to do 140 next turn if Matthew can get a double colourless energy. 5 energy total would be 100, plus the muscle band 120, plus the 20 for the attack generally 140. But Matthew would be trainer locked. We know that Ryan plays Max Potion, and then of course Ryan's going to have lasers and Matthew isn't. And it does look that's what he's going. He's playing the N though, so he's going to need to hit a switch here. Ryan does play Darkrai, which would give the Yveltal free retreat, but only if he attaches a Dark Energy, and Ryan has already attached his energy for this turn to Seismitoad. Now, we saw in the previous game, there's 2 main tactics we can see here. This is a deck, as I said, which is favoured by good players for its versatility and the fact that they can outplay their opponents and, change around what they're doing for the particular matchup. And you can either slow the game down with Seismitoad using your lasers and your trainers and all of that while trainer locking them, or you can go pretty aggressive with Seismitoad. Now that is a wonderful, wonderful card. That is better than a switch. It's an escape rope. That forces Matthew to put another Pokemon active. Now Ryan would love a muscle band here, but it doesn't look like he's got one. But now Matthew is trainer locked. Now I posited the situation of Matthew doing a lot of damage with the benched Yveltal, being dependent on Matthew getting a double colourless energy. It doesn't matter now as Matthew plays his own N, because the baby Yveltal has a retreat cost of 2. It is not coming out of the active anytime soon. And now Ryan is really in the driver's seat here. Baby Yveltal is going to remain in the active unless Ryan can use a double colourless energy to retreat it. If Ryan plays a double colourless energy to retreat it, he's not going to be able to attack with his Yveltal. He can't play any switch. Now what he could do is use his own Darkrai and Dark Energy, which I believe he does play if I remember correctly, to retreat the Yveltal, but it's still going to be next turn before he can attack with the Yveltal EX. And that is absolutely key. So he does do that, and he attaches to the benched Yveltal EX, and clearly we can see what he's trying to do here. He's going to try and build up his Yveltal EX to take out the Seismitoad. And we see a Juniper there from Ryan. However, Ryan is building up his own Yveltal to take out Yveltal, because Yveltal's attack, Evil Ball, does more damage dependent on the amount of energy attached to both the active Pokemon. And the big problem with that, of course, is that if, one Yveltal takes out a Pokemon, it is then, it's then susceptible to an opponent's Yveltal. And in the situation as we've got at the moment, let's say Matthew is able to get the KO on the Seismitoad. Well, Ryan will then bring up his own Yveltal, KO Matthew's, and then Matthew doesn't have an attacker left. So they'll then be even on 2 prizes, but Ryan will have the good attacker active and Matthew won't. It is a game where you're trying to take 6 prizes to win. That's an incredibly obvious statement. But sometimes it's okay for your opponent to take a lead if you can then get a better board position out of it. So at the moment, Ryan's Yveltal is doing a base of 80 damage, 20 for each energy, plus 20 for the attack, plus 20 for the muscle band. So that's 80 plus however much energy is on Ryan's Pokemon. Let's assume we've got a Seismitoad with a double colourless energy. We're looking at 120 damage. There's a laser with a tails. So we've got poison, and now he's on 80 damage, plus the poison is 110. And this is key here, because that means that the Yveltal is going to die of poison going into Ryan's turn. And that is absolutely crucial. Because we had 30 on there before, plus 50 from the attack with the muscle band puts it on 80, plus 30 for the poison. Now it's got 130 HP, which means between turns it's going to now go into... it's going to go to 140 damage, and then it's going to die. And Matthew is either going to have to put up the Jirachi, which dies pretty quickly because it's only got 90 HP, and in fact, if Ryan were to play a laser, the Jirachi might die going into Ryan's next turn. Or Matthew can put up the Yveltal. The problem, of course, with putting up the Yveltal is Ryan can then play a laser on it, and then he can start chipping away at that Yveltal. What Ryan really needs to do is be getting another, maybe another baby Yveltal on the bench, or just another Yveltal on the bench. Something which can soak up a bit of damage, and that could work. Because the Darkrai can retreat for just a single dark energy, and that can be very, very useful. Now we're seeing Ryan do here what he did. Oh, and the Darkrai goes down for the free retreat, and this is what Matthew was doing there. He gets the Darkrai down, and he was looking for that, and he was lucky to hit it from the supporter, because I believe he only plays the 1. Now he gets to retreat, now he gets to attach the energy, now he gets to get the KO on the Seismitoad, and now he's 2 prizes up. The big problem he's got, though, is that is his only attacker. And, if Ryan gets 1 energy down here, we see 6 energy total, that's 120, which means we'll be doing 140. A laser would get the KO. So if Ryan just gets 1 energy and a laser here, we will see a KO on that Yveltal. You'll see 6, and there's 6 energy in total, makes 120, plus the 20 damage generally is 140. He's going to need a laser here, and Muscle Band won't quite do it. If he hits the laser, we will see a KO here from poison, and Matthew is going to be left even on prizes with Ryan, but with a worse board position, because Ryan's going to have a 2 energy Yveltal active, and Ryan's going to have no real attackers to go. The one thing that has happened here is that Ryan has now broken the trainer lock. Matthew is now free to use trainers, which means all of those lasers he's been unable to use up to now are going to be coming out and doing a bit of damage. Now, annoyingly here, we do not see a laser, and Ryan has recognised that, so he's had to put the Darkrai active, as he pops a Muscle Band on the Yveltal, but that would only do 160 damage. Now the ball is right back in Matthew's court. Matthew is now able to do 120 damage, and he could add to that with laser, and if he was able to hit a laser double colourless here, he'd actually be able to KO the Darkrai. But then that Yveltal would go down to Ryan's Yveltal, and he'd be left with no attackers. We're even on prizes here, but Matthew's going to be able to get a decent shot on that Darkrai, or maybe even he's going to be looking for a Lysandra here, because if he can use a Lysandra to drag up that benched Yveltal and maybe kill it, that's going to put him in a wonderful position. Between the two, we've got 6 energy, which 120 damage, 140 with the Muscle Band, 160 generally. So Matthew is going to need an energy or a laser here, and the Lysandra, to KO the benched Yveltal, go down to 2 prizes, and really start looking good here. Now, he is going to want to start building up another attacker at some point, so it would be lovely if he could play a Lysandra here to grab the benched Yveltal. It doesn't look like he's got it. He's gone for a Sycamore, which I'm not a huge fan of. because he really could have screwed Ryan over. However, if he didn't have, say he didn't have the extra energy or the laser to get the KO on the Yveltal, then he would have done just 160 damage. And as Ryan showed us last turn, 160 damage isn't enough here. So you can see where he's going here. I would love to have seen him use the computer search for the Lysandra to kill the Yveltal, but I couldn't see his hand that well when he discarded it. It looked like he might have had nothing there. Now he's going to go for a bit of the old Seismitoad action. Has he got the double colourless energy? If he does, he might now want to get the train lock on the Darkrai, forcing Ryan into an awkward position. Ryan would then need the Lysandra and the energy to try and Lysandra up and kill Matthew's Yveltal. And it is the Yveltal that is the threat here. Essentially, whichever one of these boys can run their opponent out of Yveltals is going to win this game. The whole point of Seismitoad, and we see, is that a DCE there? It does look like a DCE. So Matthew is basically betting here that Ryan has not got an energy. No, see, I've missed something here. Ryan is now trainer locked. He's going to need the energy to retreat the Darkrai, and if he gets the energy to retreat the Darkrai, then we're back in the position where Ryan can only do 160 damage to the Yveltal, even if he's got the Lysandra. So that was an excellent play from Matthew there. He recognised, like Ryan, that he's not going to be able to get the KO. Both of them have been 10 damage short. But what he can do is he can start killing that Darkrai to, slow the game down. He's got his trainers, Ryan hasn't. He can try killing that Darkrai. Now, if he can hit heads on a laser here, that's going to be huge. He's going to get the free KO on the Darkrai, and that's going to be very close to being game here. So he's really going to want the laser here. Ryan, for his part, he's building up a second Yveltal. Because like I've said, whichever one of these boys is getting rid of the other's Yveltal is going to be the one that ends up winning this game. So what he's essentially doing is saying, all right, almost saying no to the Darkrai. But then if he is able to then, say, kill the benched Yveltal, then he's going to have Yveltals, and Matthew's just going to have Seismitoad, and if you got a few energy down, Yveltal beats Seismitoad. This isn't a Seismitoad deck playing all the hammers and such. So Ryan has got the luxury of building up the energy on his bench. But it's very much advantage Matthew here. He's got the better Yveltal on the bench, he's got the train lock going on, and crucially, he's got the Darkrai stuck in the active, and there's 50 damage going on here. He really wants that laser, though, to try and get the KO. The other thing he does is he wants to be building up a second Yveltal on the bench like Ryan is doing. Neither one of these chaps wants to put an extra energy on the benched Yveltal. The last thing they want is to put in a position, if Matthew puts one more energy on his benched Yveltal, then Ryan would be able to retreat the Darkrai with a dark energy, Lysandra up the Yveltal with all the energy, and kill it with one of his two Yveltals. Similarly, if Ryan puts a third energy on any of his Yveltals, then Matthew is able to Lysandra up one of those, whichever one's got free energy on, and kill it with his big benched Yveltal. So Ryan here is making a bit of a gamble that Matthew doesn't have a Lysandra and a way to get the Seismitoad out of the active. He does, however. Oh, no, he's got a head ringer, which is kind of funky, I suppose. Now, the question is, can he get the Seismitoad out of the active and hit a Lysandra? If he can, and it doesn't look like he can, which is an awful shame. Now, Ryan's got free energy on his benched Yveltal. Had Matthew been able to hit a Lysandra there, we've now got a total of 7 energy, plus the muscle band, plus the 20 for the attack. That's 180. Now, we would have needed a dark energy on the Seismitoad to retreat it with Darkrai, or a switch, plus a Lysandra to bring up the Yveltal. But had he been able to do that, that would have been very, very close to being game right there. That would have been absolutely huge for him. But he's still in a very good position. That Darkrai is going, and maybe he didn't even need the Lysandra. I'm talking about the kind of aggressive play, and I think it would have been a good play to make had he had the Lysandra. Here he's gone for a little bit of a more reserved play, and here goes Ryan with the energy. There's the Lysandra, and now it's looking bad that Matthew didn't have the Lysandra. Essentially, Ryan's doing this turn what Matthew was unable to do last turn. Now Ryan's got the KO there, and now we're even on prizes still, and Matthew needs to get a KO on that Yveltal. What he would really like... Now, if he was able to hit a heads on a laser and trainer lock him with Quaking Punch, that would be a huge deal, because then he would be able to get the KO with a Seismitoad. If he doesn't get the heads on Quaking Punch on the laser here, or if he does get the heads but Ryan then wakes up during his turn, then that Yveltal Ryan's got may be able to kill the Seismitoad. So we're still talking about a very dodgy play. It's far from a done deal. Now, what Ryan's done here, he's played a VS Seeker. What's he going to go for? Is it going to be a Col? It's going to be just a Colress to get a bunch of cards rather than a Lysandra. And I don't blame him for this, because he hasn't actually played a supporter yet, has he? We shall see what he does now. I believe that was a Colress. I might have missed it. Now, the thing about the bench Pokemon is the only attractive Pokemon on Ryan's bench is that Darkrai. Now, Matthew knows that Ryan plays Max Potion, so generally you would want to save the Darkrai. You would want to kill it next turn, or, save it for your last 2 prizes. However, if Ryan's able to hit the Max Potion next turn and heal off that Darkrai, assuming he hasn't already gotten rid of it, which I don't think he has, although again, it's hard to see every card, and there goes the Colress, it's hard to see every card that's being played. Then Ryan's really going to screw over Matthew. And we saw that in the previous game a little bit. Ryan is going to want to hit his Max Potion next turn to essentially get rid of... Matthew had a very good couple of turns where he used a Seismitoad to soften up that Darkrai, setting up his board and setting himself up for 2 prizes. If Ryan's able to drop a Max Potion next turn, then he's going to essentially have done all the good Matthew did. Now, there's the laser, and it's not a heads... So here we are looking a little bit dodgy. Now, the good news is, if Ryan is able to get a KO here, and he puts the now he puts his own Yveltal up, and I believe we've got the KO here. Yeah, we've got 6 energy plus the muscle band plus the attack does 160. Plus the laser put it up to 190 and got the KO. Now Matthew's looking good for this game. Ryan was able to get the good Lysandra KO earlier, and Ryan is going to he really needs this Max Potion this turn. If he doesn't hit the Max Potion, it's going to be a very simple Lysandra for game for Matthew. Now, it's still not the end of the world here, because Ryan is not trainer locked, and Ryan has a 2 energy Yveltal. And even though he's got a head ringer on there, Evil Ball takes 2 energy, so 1 dark energy will do it. Of course, he's not here going to be able to put a muscle band down. Now, without the muscle band, 1 more energy would be doing 140 damage, I believe. 6 energy plus the 20 generally would be 140. So with a dark energy and a laser, Ryan would be able to get the KO here on Matthew's Yveltal. As we've said, Yveltal preys on Yveltal. So there's an N. And it looks like Ryan might be going defensive here. The other option he's got, after ending Matthew to 2, is to try and force Matthew into a 7-prize game. Putting up the baby Yveltal, chipping away at the Matthew's Yveltal with baby Yveltal, while Matthew's Yveltal is poisoned. And then if Matthew KOs the Yveltal, well, it's really not the end of the world, because Matthew would still have to KO an EX to get the win. And that looks like what Ryan's doing. And there's the Max Potion on the Darkrai, which is absolutely huge. And that really is giving Ryan an advantage in this game. Having said that, and it's also a huge advantage for Ryan here that he hasn't had to use the Jirachi. So here now is a bit of maths going on. If Matthew's got the Lysandra, that might be enough for the win here. We're currently seeing 5 energy, which is 100 damage, plus the muscle band is 120, plus the 20 for the attack generally is 140, so a laser or a double colorless with a Lysandra will be enough. We see the VS Seeker. Now, the other option here is to play a VS Seeker for a Lysandra, call up that Yveltal anyway, essentially trying to get a double Lysandra for the win. So even if he can't KO the Yveltal here, he's just seen Ryan play his Max Potion. I don't know if he plays more than 1. So what he could do here is kind of almost kill the Yveltal, and then knowing that just a Lysandra and he can kill it with Seismitoad next turn. Or, as he's doing here, retreat out of the poison damage, hit it with Seismitoad, and it's still further away from being killed, but the theory here is he hits it with Seismitoad, which is going to do 50 damage, assuming no laser, brings it down to 120 HP, and now, and there we see the retreat, he's basically forced, and this was an excellent play, he's forced Matthew to get rid, there's the Pokemon Center lady though to heal off all the damage. Now, what Matthew was trying to do there essentially was put himself in a position where Lysandre equals win. He's not in that position anymore, but Ryan's had to get rid of his good attacker's energy in order to stop Matthew winning the game this turn. If Ryan hadn't retreated, it was a very simple Matthew wins the game this turn. So now, and Ryan's trying to force him into a 7-prize game, and, Ryan's gotten rid of Matthew's Lysandre. But Matthew still looks in the driving seat here. And this is what's fascinating. This has been a really good series so far. We've already seen one really good matchup won by Ryan. We're now seeing another good matchup, although it does look a lot like Matthew might win this one. We're going to end up in a tie after all, which would be slightly disappointing. But we see here the different tactics of playing the Lysandre as a 7-prize game, the slowing it down with Seismitoad, the big hits with Yveltal, even down to the point where we've seen the two players kind of playing a cat and mouse where they both have realised that their Yveltals would do 160 to each other, and it eventually came down to Ryan, essentially having the brass neck to put another energy on there, betting that Matthew wouldn't have the Lysandre, and it paying off when it turns out that he didn't. But Matthew is still 2 prizes up. Ryan is still trainer locked. Now, the good thing here is the fact that the good thing for Ryan, I should say, is that Ryan's got the baby Yveltal active, and Matthew gets no closer to winning by KOing that baby Yveltal. Not only does he get no closer to winning by KOing the baby Yveltal, but we actually see a position where Matthew is now more vulnerable to an end to 1 card, because he'd go down to 1 prize left rather than 2. Now, one thing that must also be borne in mind here is Ryan is, and this is a very interesting play here, Ryan is actually building up a second baby Yveltal. Now, although I like this play in theory, the problem is, Matthew can then essentially KO the baby Yveltal with Seismitoad, and then the other baby Yveltal with his big boy Yveltal, and then he's going to be able to get the win. So, this might ruin the 7-prize game, but Ryan is also basically saying, look, the only way I can get big KOs at the moment is to pile a bunch of energy on my benched Yveltal EX. But if I pile a bunch of energy, that flip is irrelevant. If I pile a bunch of energy on my Yveltal EX, then Matthew can just Lysandre up and kill it. So, and here, I mean, this is inevitable now. Ryan's got too many prizes left to take, and Matthew is going to be able to KO that baby Yveltal. And in fact, unless Ryan KOs that benched Yveltal EX this turn, and it's going to take something like a Lysandre and a double colourless energy on his benched Yveltal EX, Matthew is just going to bring up the Yveltal EX and KO the baby Yveltal next turn. I'm saying the word Yveltal way too much in this game. There are too many Yveltals running around. And some of you pronounce it Yveltal anyway, and are probably really annoyed that I keep saying Yveltal. Sorry about that. But he's evil, he's dark, and so I still think evil is the way to pronounce it. So, it can be a little bit hard in this matchup to really see where it went in Matthew's favour. And it's essentially been little decisions throughout. It's been going for the trainer lock at the right time. It's been building up the Yveltals. It's been playing the Lysandres at the right time. And it's, been Pokemon selection as much as anything. Now that Matthew's down to 1 prize, Ryan is able to play the Jirachi. And here we see what I was talking about a minute ago. Now that Matthew is down to just a single prize left, Ryan can play an N, and this puts him on only 1 prize. On only 1 card in his hand. However, it's not really going to make a difference at this stage, because the reality is, Matthew's got that benched Yveltal. The benched Yveltal is doing a base of 140 damage, free energy plus the muscle band, 100 damage, free energy plus the muscle band plus the attack generally. So he's already doing 100 damage as is. So we see the KO there with the Yveltal, and we're currently doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just an energy or a laser here is going to get the KO. There's a double colourless energy, And there is the game for Matthew. And we're so short of time here that unless somebody gets a very, very good start next turn, we are going to end up in a draw. It also looks like Ryan isn't playing head ringers, or at least isn't getting them out, whereas Matthew is, which has given him a slight advantage. But remember that Yveltal doesn't really worry too much. Most people want to do X-Ball with an energy and a double colourless. And, so that gives you 3 energy when you only need 2. The big thing about playing a head ringer is it stops your opponent being able to use a muscle band in this matchup, which takes 20 damage off. It makes it slightly harder for Yveltals to kill each other. I say slightly because it is only slight. And you see how even this matchup is. 2 good, world quality players playing very similar decks, but I would be very surprised if we got more than just a cursory game 3 here. I should take a moment to stop here and mention that this, and I'm sorry about the video here, this is not brought to you by Wakefield TCG. This was the graphic that was left on the video I've been given. This game is brought to you by Terry Goodacre and Matt Blower, lovely chaps who sorted out the recording at the tournament and sent me the video files of this so that I could get it going and get the commentary going. So a huge thank you to Terry and to Matt there. And I just wanted to make it clear that it really was those 2 chaps that sorted it out. They've helped me out immensely, and they've allowed me to, be able to put this up on my YouTube channel for you lovely people. I should also mention, as they're setting up for Game 3, that we will be seeing a matchup from Round 7, and from Top 8, and from Top 4, and from the final. These games are going to keep going for a little bit. There's going to be a few more rounds going up yet, so I highly encourage you to have a look at them coming up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, there's a little button beneath the video. Click it now. I dare you. And put a comment down below if there's anything you want to say, and like it, and make sure you tell all your friends and all of that. You should also be checking out, if you haven't done so already, my podcast PTCGRadio, which can be found on my YouTube channel or just by searching on iTunes or SoundCloud. And if you want a complete archive of that, every episode going back about 3 years, you can go to ptcgradio.wordpress.com. So we saw Matthew win Game 2, and Ryan's going to go first here, and the only real question is anyone going to have a very bad start? Ryan's got the Seismitoad start, and I mean, there's 2 ways to play this. Way number 1 is hyper, full-on aggressive, I don't want a draw. Way number 2 is stick a double colourless energy on Seismitoad and just Quaking Punch for a little bit until time is called. Because the fact of the matter is, we're in round 6. Table 15 is the top table. That's why we keep seeing Ryan on the table, because Ryan is continually on the top table. So we're seeing the top table here, and, both these chaps are already, I think if they're not guaranteed cut, they're at least as near as damn it. So a draw here really isn't a huge deal for either of them. A draw is going to get them both into cut. And I can't begrudge a draw. If ever there was a game that deserved a draw, this really is it. 2 good there's a DCE as well and an N. 2 good world quality players who have both got very, very good decks playing an even game, and we've seen a lot of good play here. I've not been able to really spot any big misplays or anything like that. There was a point in the last game where I would have Lysandre'd if I was Matthew, but as we saw, he didn't have the energy at the time being able to do so. At least I don't think he did. So he wouldn't have been able to get the KO, and in the end, what he did by switching back into the Seismitoad was the right play. And it's a delicate balance in this mirror matchup here. Both players have been using Seismitoad quite a bit, and they've been using Baby Yveltal quite a bit, and it's basically been a weird game of cat and mouse where you're trying to just slow the game down and wait to strike with your Yveltal to get ahead in the prize matchup or run your opponent out of Yveltal. And there is time being called. There was very little time left. We're 1-1. We enter into a draw, and this seems like a pretty fair result. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out my podcast, all of that good stuff, and hang there tight, because I will be back with round 7 from this tournament pretty gosh darn soon. Thank you very much for listening. Look after yourselves until I next see you. You've been watching PTCG Radio.